All right. Get my little thing here.
Let me get my.
Years ago, our three hosts began a journey together as they watched all the Ernest films and TV shows in chronological order for a podcast. As that quest neared its end, our hosts were entrusted with the holy grail of all things Ernest, the binders of unmade Ernest movie ideas. Having been blessed with this sacred text from the creators and writers of the Ernest franchise, they decided to share the treasures within with the world. They formed the Ernest P. Worrell Preservation Society and will gather regularly to discuss these films that never were. They are the well-wishers of Worrell, the archivers of amazing stories. They are the Ernest P. Worrell Preservation Society. It's going to be a very table extravaganza, comprendo? Welcome to episode 12 of the Ernest P. Worrell Preservation Society. I am your humble host, Dustin, joined, of course, by the Masters of Worrell, known as Derek.
Hello!
And Jason.
When do we stop keeping track of the episode numbers?
I don't know.
Never.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
Never.
I don't want to lose track.
It's episode 12, EP12, Ernest Goes to Washington, part 2.
Okay. Great.
Good.
Part 2X.
Yes. So, it's weird if you're listening to this if you didn't listen to episode 11.
You don't be a weirdo.
You're doing it wrong.
You should go back because we're now going to discuss scripts 3 and 4 of Ernest Goes to Washington. But yeah, do yourself a favor. Go listen to the first couple.
That we just recorded.
Literally minutes ago.
And we were drinking during, and we continue to drink now.
Yes.
Is that okay that we say that? Can we say that we're
yeah,
drinking?
we drink. We're adults.
I'm not. I'm 18.
Oh my.
Oh, child.
I've lived hard. That's why I look like this.
Is this a barley wine?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
It
rough
was
mother.
delicious.
Okay. Yeah.
It does get me in trouble.
How do you say that? Omi?
Omegang.
Omegang.
Yeah,
Omegang.
brewery Omegang in Cooperstown, New York, home of the Baseball Hall of Fame. This is the Bourbon Barrel Adoration. Jason brought this over.
Next stop, Coopersville.
Oh, and it's 2019 too, so it's been aged a year.
Omegang is a Bobby McFerrin lyric.
Yeah.
Omegang Bapoe.
Which one is? He's not red wine. What is he?
No, that's UB40.
That's
Don't-
He was
don't
Don't
worry,
Worry
be
Be
happy.
Don't worry, be happy.
Starring Robin Williams.
There were steel drums in that too, though, right?
Sure.
We got another one pager. We're just gonna we're just gonna rip right into it.
Rip it and rip it,
Let's
Vern.
kick it, man. John Daly style.
Kick
This
it
this
with
one
a tasty groove.
it's a little blurry
Come on,
in
kick
some
it.
places. Our scan of it, but
about
we've been
straight down the
drinking.
middle.
So this was written by somebody in the Carden and Cherry family.
What?
So we know who it is.
We know.
I assume we can't say it because you did not get a hold of this person.
So I sent a message
You did.
to a sibling of this person,
Okay.
trying to get in touch. Said sibling was out of the business for the next week, but I was told they were going to relay the message to them.
Oh, ill-timed.
Never heard anything
Oh, that's been a
back.
bit now.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I have no new information. I thought it'd be kind of cool because I think this was a younger person who wrote this.
Is this person still involved in the business that I think they are?
Don't think so.
Also, I will say this. It's a lady.
Lady.
It is
There
a
we
lady.
go. Now we have eliminated what?
50% of the population.
There we go.
That's right. We're down to 3.5 billion people. That this
Yeah.
We're
would
down to
be.
even less.
Oh, even less than that.
Well, because we mentioned
Mhm.
that it is a family member of
The Ernest family.
someone
Yeah.
involved in the Ernest family.
Okay, it was Bunny, Jeanette.
So there you go.
We said
Do
it.
you smell fish?
Cat's out the bag. Still don't know what that line means.
Nope. So it says proposal for John Cherry. Ernest Goes to Washington.
Mhm.
A 1990s takeoff of the classic 1939 Frank Capra film, Mr. Smith Goes to
It's a
Washington.
wonderful life.
Now we've we've danced around this a little bit, but
Yeah.
have any of you guys actually seen Mr. Smith Goes to Washington?
I have not.
No, I've seen good portions of it, but
I think that I saw it in like civics class in
Really?
high school. No joke, on one of those massive laser discs.
yes.
I think that's what I saw it on.
East Peoria High had a
Yeah.
laser disc.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're on the cutting edge of
Got that
technology.
sweet Tazewell County money.
Yep. See what happens is you put the disc in, you watch it, then you take it out and you flip it over and you watch the other side.
Is that how I've never actually worked a laser
Yep.
disc.
I used to go to East Peoria High School at one point to help edit a public access horror TV show
I didn't know
What?
this.
that aired here in the Peoria area.
So this is on the first floor of the A building
yes,
in the back.
yes.
Oh wow.
When the
That-
hell did you do this?
It was a very brief period where
We weren't living together,
No, we wouldn't have
obviously.
been living together.
Now this was Matt Hale's local show, is that right?
what? No,
Well, he had a public access show, right?
He did have
No,
a
he's the
only guy I
access
could think
show.
it wasn't the racist guy. This was
Look up Matt Hale at home, won't
this was a guy named
Fortune,
Sean
please.
that I knew, and
This
he
is ICC days, yeah?
he did a show called The Shadow Master. And he
Yeah.
was a horror TV host. And this is when I was going to ICC. I was doing a lot of editing, and we did an interview with him for our public access show. And through that, he was like, "Hey, would you ever want to be involved in the show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd be up for it." So I met him through my friend Matt Lappy, who is also a fellow podcaster, and he basically would play public domain horror movies, and he would be dressed up and he would introduce them, and there would be like little bits. I played his stupid punk rock assistant that was a temp, basically sent from some agency, and he wanted me to be like his Igor, but I would screw things up all the time.
sure.
And but I also helped edit the show.
How many of
and-
those did you do?
it was a handful. Like, he eventually stopped doing it. I think religion played a part in that, but yeah, I helped make at least a dozen of them.
Interesting.
There was like some Amazon spider women of whatever.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
White Zombie.
yeah, like watching all those movies that are in the beginning credits of Ernest Scared Stupid. It was like those kind of
yeah.
movies, and then we would have to edit our bits in. And,
Wow.
yeah, so
I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I don't remember seeing a Laserdisc player when I was
Oh
there, but
yeah. They
there,
kept that
there
locked
might have
up.
been. There might have
They
been
kept
one.
2 locks. Combination lock, man. Try to get through that.
So, in these times of runaway government spending and political corruption, what better hero of the common American than Ernest P. Worrell? Ernest is appointed to a vacant Senate seat as an appeasement to the governor's children who adore Ernest. So, I'm trying to figure out, is Ernest a celebrity, or is this just a neighborhood guy that the kids like?
I see him kind of like from last week, where Ernest was playing air guitar with his weed whip. You got a beautiful big governor's mansion, and I think our former governor, Rob Blagojevich, was selling, right, the
Yeah.
Senate seat.
Okay.
So he apparently could appoint, when Barack Obama vacated that seat to become the president, apparently he could appoint it, and he sold it, and that's why he ended up in jail. So that seems like it could be a real thing, where a governor appointed. And I would like to think that maybe Ernest is just the guy out there cutting the grass.
He's just
or something.
the right place, right time.
Yeah.
Could be, but that line in and of itself gives me an idea.
What's that?
We'll come back.
Okay.
We'll come back to it.
Don't forget.
We'll come back to it.
Don't forget.
When have I ever forgotten?
Never.
When Ernest tries to write a harmless bill to create a national kids camp, he unknowingly uncovers a scandal over public lands. His fellow senators, who once treated him with kid gloves and with condescension, now try to save their corrupt project by accusing Ernest of stealing donations from children. With his childlike innocence and belief in the basic values of America, Ernest takes on the bigwigs of Congress by holding the floor of the Capitol until his message is heard by the American people. This means Ernest is going to do a filibuster.
Filibuster.
Yeah.
Yes, I like
Leslie Knope
that.
style.
I like that. So the children of the state never doubt their hero and help spread the message. The sincerity and hard work of Ernest's little supporters eventually overcome the powerful political machine run by the calculating politicians. I like this better already because there's kids involved in it, and that's going to keep kids interested in the politics.
You guys are finally getting it, man. You got to put kids in there.
Yes.
The overburdened taxpayer doing all in his power to stay afloat in hard economic times has lost interest and faith in government until the small-town common sense of Ernest P. Worrell captures their attention and admiration. Ernest is finally acquitted when his boyhood idol, a senator who had become corrupt due to his dreams of the presidency, is moved to admit his participation in the deal to squander public lands. A nation that has lost its way is brought back on the right path by the bumbling Ernest P. Worrell. The character of Ernest P. Worrell is much different from Jimmy Stewart's Mr. Smith, and the tone of the film would be more humorous. The film would continue the traditions of the preceding Ernest films. Chuck could possibly be the governor of Ernest State, and of course, Rimshot would accompany Ernest on his trip to the capital.
Yes!
While the Ernest films have done extremely well with children, the older population has not been as successfully targeted. I believe this story has the ability to reach kids with Ernest's various pratfalls and gags, while at the same time reaching the older audience with a relevant plot. The people who made Ernest commercials such a huge hit were the basic Americans who could relate to The Good Old Boy Next Door, a movie where Ernest takes on big government is just their thing.
I like where the head's at.
That paragraph's interesting. We've read them before where it's like, and you can imagine what happens next.
You can just, well, guess what happens next?
And I was like, I mean,
Daniel.
I couldn't guess.
I love you, Papa, but damn.
Like, I can guess and I can imagine, but you're the writer. You should tell me. But this is a little different where it's basically saying, hey, this is why I think this would work.
Yeah.
This is a pitch to sell what was already written.
And
this is an interesting paragraph.
Wasn't a writer. This is from
I don't know
what
much
I
about this
gather.
person. Okay.
I think this is a family member
Mm-hmm.
that had a story idea. And it's like, I'm going to type something up, I'm going to give it to Buster,
And I'm going
and
to
we'll
tell
see
you
what
why it
happens.
works. This is how a pitch should be done.
And you know
It's
what?
interesting.
This
too.
is how you sell.
I kind of like this one.
It's interesting because why would they write the Ernest Goes to Washington one? Was this person saying, hey, I would be interested in maybe trying to write something for Ernest, and they were given a few ideas that they were interested in pursuing, and then maybe this person chose the Ernest Goes to Washington?
Yeah.
You know, I wonder how this writer came to the idea of doing a Goes to Washington
maybe
version.
these 2 or 3 had already been written, and somebody's like, you know what? 2 or 3 people have taken a stab at this.
Yeah.
It's not working.
What do you think?
Maybe
What do you
so.
think? What can make it work?
Well, the answer is always kids.
Yep.
And you can put a little head on top of a hat there when you say the dog's involved.
Bingo.
But I would call him Rimshot. You can call him Bingo if you want. I want to see Bingo dressed up like Uncle Sam. Don't you? I want to see a little Rimshot Uncle Sam with a hat.
Yes.
Maybe that weird long coat that's
Do
just
the-
for
do
the
the-
front 2 legs.
Do the thing that you do with the dog.
Looks like
It's like a collar, but it's still a body. That would be perfect.
But except one of the fingers is like out pointing at you like I want you.
That'd be good.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
there's
So-
again, this is a short one.
It's a
though,
short
that we all
one.
seem to enjoy.
Yeah,
Short is sweet, and like you had said, it lets our imagination run a little wild.
there's nobody to cast really because it's not fleshed out enough. So we basically can only say, is it going to be a superb? Is it going to be it could work? Or is it an ew? I am pretty confident in saying I don't think any of us are giving
Ew's off
this
the
one
table.
an ew.
No, I'm not going to give it.
It's either a superb or a this could work. Derek, I'll go to you first this time. What do you think of this proposal?
Very high, it could work.
Okay.
I can't give it a superb just because the things we have given superb to
Sure.
that kind of set the benchmark.
Mm-hmm.
Very well developed. Monkeys,
Yep.
boy statues. But yeah, this is as high. This is a very high. It could work, and
Okay.
a very solid point made at the bottom, as well in the bottom paragraph.
I'm going to give it. It could work as well. I like that he is not the president in this one.
Yes.
Because in these family films, the president is always a good guy,
Mhm.
right? The president's always a good guy. You can trust the president. You, Joe American, you can trust the United States president.
Joe the plumber.
It's all the people around him.
Sleepy
who are-
Joe,
I'll call him Sleepy Joe.
Trump.
Joe-
Trump
Oh,
called
Joe
Joe
Biden.
Biden
Right,
Sleepy
Sleepy
Joe.
But like, so I like
Our
that.
country's ridiculous.
I like that. I like that a former senator that Ernest had looked up to or something.
Yeah.
Kind of reformed.
Having a turn of heart.
I don't want there to be some crazy evil thing. I like it when it's just let's build
I like
Mega
my
Mart, you know.
sun blackening plots.
Oh, I don't like them that dark.
Left. No. I like them left to my, Sunday primetime animated series.
All right.
Not my Ernest strips.
But then I like it when the bad guy turns around.
Yeah.
I think we saw that in the
Redemption.
Was it the baseball one? Where or one of the baseball ones, or is it the one of the wrestling ones, right?
Yeah.
Where it was an ex wrestler who was a jerk, but then he kind of came around at the end. I
Yeah,
like it when the
Rip
bad
Torn.
guy, Rip Torn, right? I like it when they reform. So this is just loose enough to let our imaginations fill it with positive and good ideas, and I give it and it can work.
And I do the same. So far, out of the 3, this is probably my favorite.
Yeah, compared to the 2 last week, I would say so too.
So this is so far, this is the winner. We got 1 left to go.
Now I will say, if I may,
Please.
If you got more.
Go for it.
What I wanted to not forget, like
Yes.
you told me,
Yes,
was
yes.
there's a line in here, and it's like, huh, and like just on the spot, kind of came up with, that would be an interesting movie, like call it an in-show 5th treatment. What if you had one? Because it says here, Ernest is appointed to a vacant Senate seat as an appeasement to the governor's children who adore Ernest. Picture, if you will, a very meta movie.
Dream if you will.
Where the kids love Ernest movies. And they're like, Daddy, we want Ernest to be a senator. So it's a fictionalized Jim Varney. Happened to be Ernest as a senator.
Wow. And then you think Jim would, not being Ernest, like lean into that persona because that's what people
art
like?
imitating life a little bit. Like,
Well, we know he's not going to smoke on screen.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He's just playing with knives the whole time.
Yeah. The pocket watches.
Making
tables
some
of curiosity.
skirt steak with Florence Henderson.
Curiosity table. Wow.
I don't know why
that show that was.
I don't know why that crossed my mind.
That was bad.
The Florence Henderson.
Oh, what a
the
terrible
cookie show
program
on TNN.
I actually
That's terrible.
rewatched it
no.
recently.
It's long.
Yeah.
What's wrong with
I don't
you?
know. I like Jim in it. It's fun seeing Jim be Jim.
Yeah.
And not Ernest.
Yeah.
And that's really the longest video that I've come across of just him.
Well, that's
Just
painful.
him being him.
Like the Florence Henderson part's painful.
Yeah.
And then I think he had a decent chunk with the Chevy Chase show.
Yeah.
But my God, Chevy is so bad.
God.
Yeah, this is
What was
all
he thinking?
classic Varney segments on our old show, The Importance of Seeing Ernest. Every week we pulled a different Jim Varney clip from the vault, the
Classic
archives.
Varney.
Classic Varney. And what's great is a lot of these classic Varney bits and a bunch more that are being unearthed every day are going to show up in the documentary.
Oh, wow,
and it's
great.
gonna be really cool.
Yes.
So keep your eyes peeled. Again, we do our word to or do our job to try to get the word out about the documentary. People are always
Word
making
on the
jokes on
street.
Twitter, but it's happening. COVID slows everything down, but stay tuned. The Ernest documentary it is still in pre-production right now.
I like your idea though. Your metaverse where the kids like the
it just
character and
crossed my mind.
Yeah, no,
That could be fun.
because that's what when I read it, I was like, well, is it ad Ernest?
How would they know
is he a
Ernest?
local spokesperson
Okay.
for Purity Milk? And they're like, Daddy, I like that guy.
We want Dad to be senator.
What,
says got it, Edna.
Yeah,
what if he's a local spokesperson, but he is just being himself? Ernest is Ernest P. Worrell is a real person.
There you go.
Okay.
That too.
Wow. Okay, that's some good ideas. I like that.
All right. Well, time for the 4th one.
Oh, God.
And okay, so this is going to be a first. Usually, when we rate a script and we're like, it could work, we don't revisit it. There's nothing else to revisit.
We've been to that well.
This is script number 2 from last episode, but punched up. We actually have dialogue now, and it's not the entire story, but it is a good chunk of the first act.
Oh yeah.
And it is a punched up version. So we're going to see if they turned 3 ews into maybe an it could work. If it got better
Fair to Midland.
with them punching it up. We're going to play characters. It's going to be very fun. Our Are you wanting to be shuttle pilot or control? I will be the narrator.
You'll be the narrator.
And I will also read the parts of Ernest, I believe.
I'll be control.
Okay.
Yeah, Jason and Derek will be playing a various cornucopia of assorted characters.
I'll be control.
All right.
Control.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Fade in. Exterior. Space. A space shuttle is revealed curving around its orbit of Earth. We hear the transmission beeps of communication with ground control.
Control. We're in position. Confirm our coordinates and give your go.
Roger that. Coordinates are confirmed. Endeavor. You have launched clearance.
Thank you, Control. We are deploying the package.
On the cargo bay, as its curved doors open, a large device resembling a closed umbrella begins to float out into space. The shuttle clears some distance from the satellite.
Control, we have successful launch. It's in your hands now.
Roger, Endeavor. Reserve your course. Control out.
As the shuttle glides farther and farther from the satellite, we come closer to it, discovering a panel of buttons near the bottom. Suddenly, they flicker to life. Wider. The umbrella begins to unfold, spreading out and out to a size much larger than one would expect. All light in its path from the sun to a parcel of the earth is blocked out. Exterior. A palace courtyard in Iraq. Day. A guard is lighting a cigarette. Above him, a familiar figure steps out to his balcony to admire the view. It is Saddam Hussein.
Derek, would you like to be Saddam?
I would
Hussein?
love to be Saddam.
I kind of
Hussein.
figured that's where it was going.
Yep, I was about to say dibs on Saddam. What a beautiful day! It is the mother of all mornings.
Suddenly, the sky goes black, inky black. But we can still see the whites of Saddam's eyes recoil in terror.
This is some weird dialogue. I'm like, aye! What?
That's literally what they have Saddam saying.
Aye!
Aye what?
What?
There is the noise of people shouting and crying out in fear. Exterior, a tank atop a ridge in the Iraqi desert. A lone soldier leans out of the top, looking through a set of night vision goggles. The light from below reveals a smile forming on his lips. He lifts a radio. Red 1, this is First Strike in position.
We read you, First Strike. Project Black Star is operational and you are free to carry out your orders.
The hatch closes, and for the first time we see an entire invading force which has just been sent into motion. POV night vision scope. Saddam Hussein cowers in a corner, falling over his lounge chair, spilling his drink, and grabs a not-so-willing cat for comfort as the unseen force comes to take him away. He is a fat green figure screaming in terror.
Why green?
Because it's night vision.
Oh, yeah, yes, of course. It is a great Satan turning day to night. We're all doomed. Aye!
The image starts to fade into black as a spiffy eclipse-type logo appears on the screen. Operation Black Star. Keep your enemies in the dark. Interior office building. The lights flick on as a dozen dark-suited men seated around an oblong table reach for their sunglasses, each with a briefcase before them. Their hosts are a couple of fat cat Texans.
Fat cats.
Stormy Bullfish, 55, and T-Boone Weathers, 49. They wear lapel pins that read Drubble Avionics. T-Boone smiles at one of the dark suits.
Y'all want to know how much it costs? Just build it. Build it quickly.
On Stormy. He lights a cigar and leans back in his chair, contented. Exterior, a hotel rooftop helicopter pad. A large helicopter is just touching down. A number of well-dressed gentlemen disembark. The wind is a bit too gusty for the toupee one of them is wearing. He pats it down as they hustle into an elevator. Before the elevators close, we see stickers on the briefcases the men carry that read GIP, for a grander America. Near the elevator, a lanky fellow is washing windows. As the helicopter takes off, its airflow blows him off his perch, and he flutters in the air like a kite, held only by his window washer's harness. As he blows past us, he is screaming like a banshee. This is Ernest P. Worrell. Interior lobby, outside hotel banquet room. The placard outside the door reads, "Welcome, directors of the Grand Independent Patriot Party." Interior banquet room. It is a large, elegant facility with windows overlooking the garden. Big applause from the 60 or so attendees greets a blustery man who approaches the podium. At the front, on either side of him, are the men from the helicopter. One of them is none other than Stormy Bullfish. The blustery man fusses with the microphone. He seems more than uncomfortable with the applause. All right. No need for none of that.
All right.
We got work to tend to. Now, some of y'all are saying, now that Rockefeller Houston don't appreciate us, and that just wouldn't be the truth. But this meeting was supposed to be a celebration where we all got friendly with our candidate for Congress.
Where's Harvey Rock?
There is a buzz in the crowd as some people echo those words. Rockefeller Houston looks out over his audience and uneasily at the other sour-faced men at his side. 2 days ago, we accepted Harvey Casper's resignation from our ticket. A big moan of disappointment from the crowd. I'm sorry. Harvey's got some skeletons in his closet that are just now coming out, if you know what I mean.
What are we gonna do, Rock? There's only 2 days until the primary resignation cutoff.
I know. Now, if and y'all got an alternative out amongst you, speak now, forever hold your peace. But I know most of you, and most of us got some skeletons. Heck, some of you got a whole cemetery. Spattered laughter. The men up front seem a little more at ease. Now, we got some people we'll go over here if Luann will get the overhead rolled over here. But folks, we need someone quick. We need someone we can roll into our party. We need a puppy we can house train. Exterior, gardens, just outside the banquet room. Through the window, we see the formal goings-on inside, oblivious to all. This is Ernest, who stands at attention with an electric weed eater over his shoulder as though it were a rifle. A stern supervisor looks him up and down.
All righty, Ernest. There's roses and there's weeds. What do we like?
Well, I like baby ducks.
Roses, you maggot. We like roses. Pink ones, red ones.
Yellow one?
And what don't we like?
Well, I don't like it when you get down to the bottom of your soup and there's this big hairball.
Oh, Ernest!
And it gets all soupy. They're best when dry. Know what I mean?
Weeds, you idiot. We don't like weeds. We root them up, slice them out, we annihilate them. You understand?
Yes, sir, Mr. Schwarzkopf.
All right, I'll check on you later.
The supervisor leaves. Ernest puts his headphones from his Walkman in place and turns on the radio. He lifts up the weed eater as though it were a weapon and glares down its length at the weeds. His eyes narrow into slits. You're all mine now, little varmints. He turns it on, looping the extension cord around his arms for safety. It's very loud, so he turns up the volume on his radio. He pulls goggles down around his eyes and starts to work. Interior banquet room. The whirring is a slightly noisy distraction as a thin man by the overhead drones on about candidates whose pictures are displayed on the screen.
Parker Butler, 38, from Dover's Corners. He's been divorced once, has 2 kids and a mistress.
The audience seems delighted.
But he has been known to beat his dog.
Several shake their heads in disgust.
All in favor?
Looking around.
Never mind. Next one, Luann.
A new smiling face flashes on the screen. Ted Kennedy.
He said he'd join the party if we... never mind.
Another face. Thin man continues, his voice fading as we notice Rockefeller Houston's gaze drifting to the window.
This guy wouldn't be much more than a puppet. He probably ain't got a hand harmful... Damn it. I'm gonna try that again. Blah, blah. This guy wouldn't be much more than a puppet. He probably doesn't have a arm... I can't say harmful.
Say it right now.
Harmful. Harmful.
All right, it's pretty good.
There we go. Third time's the charm. This guy wouldn't be much more than a puppet. He probably ain't got a harmful bone in his body, but he's never had an original thought either.
Houston's POV, Ernest in the garden, beginning to go crazy with the weed eater, using it like an air guitar as he listens to the music. His eyes are clenched shut, and at first his swings of the instrument perform measured clippings of tall grass and weeds on Ernest, zestily jumping a la Mick Jagger with the Weed Eater. Now roses are flying all over the place, and he is cutting into a rope that holds a newly planted palm tree. Each time as he swings around, the rope gets more and more frayed, and the palm tree's weight bears down further on it. We can hear the music building to a crescendo as the garden is now a masterpiece of devastation. Schwarzkopf enters the scene, stunned at the sight. He yells so loud, Ernest can even hear it above the music. Ernest opens his eyes and they go wide when he sees what he's done. The frayed rope breaks and the tree falls towards him. Ernest screams, throwing out the Weed Eater to protect himself, and the extension cord whips out of the wall, slapping the supervisor in the face. Schwarzkopf loses his balance and falls in a nearby pond. Drenched and covered with grassy debris and roses, he glares at Ernest.
You!
All right, and that's where we're going to stop the video. If you want to hear the rest of this performance, tune in to the episode in a couple weeks. Yeah, thanks for tuning in to the Ernest P. Worrell Preservation Society. We'll see you next time.